Reb Zone Sports Show, only on Fox 5.
Good evening and welcome inside the Reb Zone, where we are celebrating the return of the Fremont Cannon to Las Vegas. Kevin Bollinger alongside UNLV head football coach Bobby Houck. And you've been coaching a long time. You've been in a lot of big games. Where does this one rank?
Well, this is way up there. You know, obviously the rivalry games are always important, but I've never been part of one where the other side had won 8 in a row and then we had to go take that thing back. And you couple that with the fact that it's the first time since, I believe, 1979 that the Rebels have gone up and taken the thing back from Reno when we didn't have it. Just a huge deal. It was fun to see our fans up there. It was fun to get all the messages and see our kids celebrate, and just really rewarding to me, and kind of reminds you why you do what I do for a living.
Well, let's start breaking this one down. The Rebels were in hostile territory up in Reno, but that just added more fuel to the fire for the Scarlet and Gray.
Every yard is ours. This championship is ours. This year we bring that cannon home, boys. Let's go, boys. Let's go. Reds on 3. 1, 2, 3. Reds. 1 on 3. 1, 2, 3. Reds.
Emotions were running high as the Rebels and Wolfpack took the field in front of a sold-out crowd at Mackey Stadium. Both offenses struggled early, and the first quarter ended with UNR up 3-0, but things picked up in the second. After a Wolfpack field goal made it 6-0, the offense went to work for UNLV. Running back Tim Cornett showed no signs of last week's injury and ran hard all night. On 3rd and 8 at the 17, Caleb Herring to the end zone, and a great catch by Micah Mataele. Touchdown UNLV. The Rebels had their first lead of the game with just under 10 minutes to go until the half. Reno would answer. Cody Fajardo goes downfield to Richie Turner, who hauls it in for the score, and Nevada was back on top 13-7. The Rebels marched right back down. Herring hits Devontae Davis, and the big man does the rest. 44 yards to Pater to make it 14-13 UNLV. UNR would get a 43-yard field goal to regain the lead, and the Wolfpack went into the locker room up 16-14, but the Rebels were in prime position.
Certainly an environment up there is expected in Reno where the fans are crazed. The Wolfpack come out with these chrome helmets that they thought were going to maybe motivate their home crowd. Instead, it maybe fed the beast of the Rebels and got them motivated.
Yeah, it might have a little bit. We actually knew that was coming and had a little fun with it in our locker room pregame, and then went out and played, and our guys played really well, and we're pretty passionate about the game, which was exciting.
Cody Fajardo gets injured late in the first half. Stayed in the game, but certainly was not as mobile as he normally is, and I believe the Rebels held him for the game to under 30 yards rushing, but it also changed their passing attack because he wasn't able to get out of the pocket as easily.
Yeah, he's a running quarterback probably first, and they have an offense that deals with that and needs that, and when he couldn't do it, it hurt him. Cody's is a good kid and a warrior, and I got a chance to talk to him after the game, told him I was proud of him for fighting through that thing, and he's a quality guy, the kind of guy you want in your program.
Now, one thing that you and your coaching staff have done very well this season is make the adjustments at halftime, and it's shown in the second half of games this year. As you went into the locker room, what did you guys talk about, and what adjustments did you know you had to make?
Well, you have to do some things generally at halftime, and you know, you don't change the whole game plan generally, but like for instance, the play where they scored the long pass and the touchdown, we had to choose whether we were going to spill the run game and try to make it run lateral, which is what we were doing on the tight end coming back, and that's why we couldn't keep the quarterback contained. He got out and made the completion. So at halftime, we had to edge that and play that inside gap and gamble a little bit more with that. But things like that we did. Played great on defense. You know, the goal line stand, first goal and the 2, holding them to 3. We gave up about 150 yards in the second half and got the turnovers and just did some really good things. And our assistant coaches have continued to do a great job at halftime as the season's gone on.
Well, the pace and the intensity only grew in the second half as UNLV's defense tightened up and the offense started to work their magic.
Right now, let's go. Go get it. Win on 3. 1, 2, 3. Win. Go, 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 go.
The second half opened with a dominant effort by the defense, who allowed only 1 first down for UNR until late in the game, and the Rebels were opportunistic as well. Off the Wolfpack reception, Taj Hassan forces the fumble. It's scooped up by Frank Crawford, and he returns it to the 27. Herring finds Andrew Price to move the ball to the 12. Then Cornett does his thing, pounding and finding his way into the end zone and delivering a message to Reno fans. UNLV was up 21-16 with 11:46 to go in the game, but they weren't done. On the Rebels' next possession, they go 80 yards down the field. Herring to Davis on several key completions, capped by another incredible touchdown grab from Davis. The two-point conversion failed, but UNLV was leading 27-16. Nevada wouldn't go quietly, scoring with 2:27 left, but their two-point conversion was tipped and incomplete, and UNLV had a 5-point lead. UNR will get one last chance to drive for the winning touchdown, but the Rebel defense held firm. On 4th down, Fajardo's pass is incomplete, and the party was on. The Rebels win 27-22 and take the Cannon for the first time since 2004. The players made sure that they celebrated on the field and in the locker room.
Rebels! 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 Rebels!
To every Rebel out there in this country, that was for them, all right? I am so damn happy for all of you and for all of our fans. All right? Go on.
1, 2, 3.
With the Rebels, the victory today. With the Rebels, the scarlet and gray. From mountains around, reach too far across the sea. We'll win with the Rebels of UNLV. UNLV. UNLV, go my way.
That young man that you had in the locker room, there's an interesting story behind him.
Yeah, we were up in training camp in Ely this year. He came to darn near every practice, and so at the end of the thing, I said, hey, get up here, introduce yourself to the team. You're kind of one of the team members. And so he was at the game, and when he addressed the team up in Ely, he said, hey, you're going to beat Reno. So he was right. We let him come in and lead the fight song. It's a pretty cool deal.
We don't get tired of seeing those scenes in the locker room, and especially with a win like that. You enjoyed watching that. You were watching very intently with that. How fun is that in terms of just seeing the guys that have worked so hard and have been at the bottom? None of these guys have won a Cannon game and get to that point.
Well, it's fun, and it's fun for me because we don't get to enjoy it all the time. You know, like you and I have talked, I'm already on the San Jose State film this morning, and to get to come in here is kind of refreshing for me to enjoy it. And for me, like I said in the locker room, I'm really happy for our fans and for the kids on our team, because the people have hung with us. Our kids have worked hard, and for them to go take that thing and bring it back here for our people to enjoy is really a big deal.
For Caleb Herring, this was a game of redemption 2 years ago in Reno. He obviously struggled by his own admission. It was probably one of the lower points for him. And to come back and put up the numbers that he did and lead this team was something special.
Well, absolutely. And the big thing to me is when he walked out of that stadium 2 years ago, he was beaten down mentally. And he played the 2 worst games of his career. He was kind of at a crossroads in terms of what am I going to do? Am I going to give up football? Am I going to leave? Or am I going to go back to work and fight and try to get on the field? And he's a shining example for people who think giving up's an option. He's a guy that fought back, and you know, no one's more pleased than his coaches and his teammates for him to come back and have such great success this year.
His favorite target, of course, is Devontae Davis, who had another monster game.
Monster game. He's really becoming a big-time player. He makes play after play. One of the great things is we're seeing the ball go all over the place and get spread around, which gives Devontae more options and less double coverage and less bracket and rolled corners and all those other things. And Caleb's doing a nice job of getting the ball where it needs to go, and it's getting to 81 enough.
Tim Cornett, of course, a lot of questions going into this game. He had the injury at Fresno State, and a lot of people thought he wouldn't play. He looked good out there, 26 rushes, 122 yards.
Yeah, Tim's a good player, and he fought his way back this week. Our medical staff did a nice job with him. He didn't practice on Tuesday. He tried a little bit on Wednesday, and he just improved through the week, and obviously he was on his game yesterday.
We are just getting started. We have a lot more to talk about this one. We're going to enjoy this as much as we can throughout the half hour. Continuing to savor bragging rights are the Rebels. Up next, Hear what the players had to say after the game. Plus, we're going to give you more of the locker room celebration as the cannon was rolled in and surrounded by Rebel Red. We're back in 2 minutes.
You're watching the Reb Zone Sports Show on Fox 5.
I feel it all over my body right now. It's a great feeling right now. I've been here for a long time and haven't seen this cannon and, the guys in there celebrating. It's awesome. It's amazing.
We've been talking about this cannon for years, but I played this game 3 times and wanted that cannon, and to get it this time is just great.
Do you wish you could bottle this feeling right now?
It's gonna be bottled. I'm gonna be 57 years old somewhere, scratching my belly, just talking about this Reno game for years to come. So I'm sure the family's gonna get tired of it eventually, but this game is gonna be remembered for a long time.
That was about an hour.
That was classic.
Hour after the game ended, and then the emotion, the raw emotion on those players was still there.
Yeah, it's a big deal. It's important. Believe me, it's important to them. And I think you couple it with the fact that we thought we should have had the dang thing a year ago. For them to have to sit there and live with that one for 365 days, little redemption last night was big for them. And as Caleb said, these guys will take this to their graves with them. Rivalry games are a big deal.
Kind of scary that he thinks old is 57 for
us. It's really not all that far away or all that old. I'm going to have to explain that to him.
Well, only as Coach said, one other time has UNLV gone to Reno to take the cannon back. That was back in 1979. And, of course, the Rebels hadn't won the cannon at all since 2004. And that made the locker room after the game that much more special.
For the next 12 months, we're going to guard this thing with our lives, and then we're going to do it again, all right? Our idea is to not have this thing out of our possession. All right, now listen to me. For every Nevada kid in the room, for all the former players with tears in their eyes that never got to see this thing up close in our locker room, all right? For our president, who's right here, for our regents who bitterly want this game, all right, because they have regents they have to deal with in the north, to every Rebel out there in this country. That was for them, all right? I am so damn happy for all of you and for all of our fans, because this was a quest to get this thing. You did it, okay? And I'm freaking proud of you, man. I love y'all. I can't tell you how proud I am.
The thing about the rivalry games is it's not just the players and the coaches on that team. You're talking about former Rebels, the kids who grew up in Nevada and knew about this thing. You made sure you pointed them out to savor this, I guess, a little bit, but then also know that once you have it, you don't want to let it go.
Well, absolutely, and it's a big thing for us. It's one of our team goals, and to achieve that, we get to check it off the list for this year. It's fun. College football is an emotional game, and it's supposed to be approached that way. And part of that is enjoying the fruits of your victory. And I think you have to, both personally as coaches, we don't do it enough. We don't take time to savor it, and we tend to, and especially as we get older, we dwell on the losses more than enjoying the wins. You got to enjoy the wins, and you got to allow our guys, and we're going to allow our guys a day and a half to enjoy the heck out of that, and then Monday we'll be back on and ready for San Jose.
And to put things in perspective, the last time the Rebels were in possession of the cannon, most of your players were either in elementary school or middle school.
Yeah, it's amazing how young they are, frankly, but it's a weight off everybody's back, and what I would say to that is arriving here 3+ years ago, the disparity between us and Reno was vast. They were just so much better than us. It wasn't close, and we've narrowed that gap in a hurry. As I said a year ago, we felt like we should have won the dang thing, and to get it in our possession now is really good, and we hope to keep it.
Well, with each win, the next one becomes that much more important. The Rebels return home for the next 2 Saturdays, including a showdown with San Jose State this week. Up next in the zone, we're going to preview the game with the Spartans, who have a quarterback that is going to be a handful. Stay with us.
You're watching the Reb Zone Sports Show on Fox 5.
Next up for the Rebels is San Jose State Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock over at Sam Boyd Stadium. Yesterday, the Spartans rallied in a big way to beat Wyoming 51-44. They've had their struggles, but this game could hinge on stopping San Jose State quarterback David Fales.
San Jose State came into this season with high expectations, but has struggled with injuries and getting any type of momentum. Standout wide receiver Noel Grigsby is out with a torn meniscus in his left knee, which has taken away a key weapon in what the Spartans like to run offensively.
A pro-style offense, I think it's important to be able to run the ball as well as to throw the ball, but most importantly above that, whatever scheme I think is always trumped by the effort, the attitude of the team, and I think we got a good group.
The run may have been important, but rushing has not been a strong suit for the Spartans, who rely on highly touted quarterback David Fales, putting up passing yard numbers that rank in the top 15% in the country. But without prime target Grigsby, San Jose State ranks in the bottom third in the country at points scored per game at just over 24 and has consistently failed to convert in the red zone. Defensively, the Spartans have had issues on third down, allowing opponents to convert almost 50% of the time. That's not to say San Jose State is a pushover. The athletes are there on both sides of the ball to give UNLV fits, and this is a team with players who have experienced success and is fighting like the Rebels to become bowl eligible. This is a big game for both teams.
David Fales is the name that Rebel fans are going to hear a lot here as we lead up to next week. He's tough to stop, and nobody really has had a blueprint on how to stop him.
Well, he's good. You know, he's a good quarterback. He gets the ball out. He's accurate. By all the NFL scouts that are through say he's a good football player. He's got good targets to throw to. They've got a good offensive line. Their defensive front is very, very highly regarded, and we'll have our hands full with these guys.
They scored 51 on Wyoming on Saturday.
Yeah,
is that almost helpful to have that much film on what their offense is doing?
Well, we have film on all of them, but I mean, that's eye-opening certainly. But we know that with a quarterback like that, they're at any game, any Saturday, they can score. They can hang half 100 on you. That's just the way it's going to be with a quarterback like that.
And their defense, you talked about having a good front, but they have given up a lot on third down. This is a game where red zone conversions for the Rebels are going to be important to make sure you're getting 6 and not 3.
Yeah, I mean, we've got to finish drives. It's something we've at times been really good at, and times we haven't. Frustrating a little bit last night at times even, where we got to get points on the board. And 1 o'clock on Saturday out at Sam Boyd, it's going to be great. It's two good football teams playing against each other. I mean, I don't know what else we could want. We're in the heat of the Mountain West West Division race. It's November, and right where we want to be.
Well, we're going to take one final break, and we're going to have some final thoughts from Coach Houck and the Rebel Plays of the Week. But first, we're going to let you know how other teams in the Mountain West did this week.
You're watching the Reb Zone Sports Show on Fox 5.
When you came to UNLV, you knew that there was going to be a process of the rebuild. Where are the Rebels now in terms of what you thought when you first came here?
Well, when I first sat down and talked with our folks at UNLV about taking the job, I said it's going to be a 5-year deal. And then after the first spring and maybe the first couple games of the first fall, I said, well, maybe 6. And in my mind, if things keep going the way they are right now, we're a year ahead of schedule. So I like where we are. I mean, I think that this is how it generally transpires. If you're going to get it done, you lose big, you lose close, you win close, and then you get a chance to win big. And that's hopefully where we're headed.
We talk about the bucket list maybe with this team this year, and you've checked a lot of things off. The road losing streak is gone. 4 wins in a row. You get the Cannon back. Next on the list is becoming bowl eligible, and you're only 1 win away from doing that.
Right. We need to have a winning record, and what I want to do when I talk to our team is I don't want to be caught up in that. I want to look at the weekend, prepare for the game, and prepare for the opponent. All the other stuff, like it always does, takes care of itself if you do that. So that's the way we'll approach it this week, and we've got a great challenge.
Well, the quest for 6 in terms of 6 wins and bowl eligibility begins on Saturday afternoon. It's a 1 p.m. kickoff at Sam Boyd Stadium. It is homecoming as well, so we're hoping to pack Sam Boyd and get some home field advantage as UNLV tries to get bowl eligible for the first time since 2000. We want to go back, though, to, of course, the Cannon game and leave you tonight with some of the Rebel Plays of the Week as UNLV goes up to Reno. They turn that blue stadium sour, and they turn the Cannon red. Thanks for joining us tonight in the Reb Zone. We will see you next week. Good night.